a great day. So for the people who have been for following us and have been really interested with FIBA India, and if you would like to get in touch with us, get to know us more, you can always get in touch with us with the number 63642521 and 64. So again, thank you so much, guys, for coming for watching this Insta live session. And today, on we have my friend and colleague Danny over here. Hello, Danny. Thank you so much for coming. How are
Hi,
you?
then. Yeah, doing good. Thank you for the invitation.
Anytime. So
Yeah.
today, since this is the end of the month, I think we are going to talk about a day. I think I wish more people sat and spoke more about, which is the May Day, and I think there is a lot that can be spoken about on this day. And I'm more than glad to have Danny sit and come here and make us understand about May Day more. So Danny, can you give start with what was the origin of May Day? Why was such a day called May Day even is celebrated today? And what is the significance behind? What's the reason behind it?
See, on 21st of April, 1856,
Yeah.
Australian stonemasons in Victoria understood undertook a mass stoppage as a part of the 8-hour workday movement.
Hmm.
So the main reason was like the workers had to work without time limits, time bound, and
Yeah.
they were not given any privileges and all kinds of things. So this movement started in Australia first, 1856 on 21st of April with the 8-hour workday movement. And
Hmm.
thereon it began to be called International Workers' Day, which we also say as Labour's Day in some countries. And also in India, we call it as May Day.
Hmm.
So these are the three names that is given to it: International Workers' Day, Labour's Day, and also May Day.
Hmm.
So it's a celebration of laborers and the working class. So that
Hmm.
is promoted by the International Labour Work Movement and
Hmm.
occurs every year on 1st May or the first Monday in May.
Yeah.
So traditionally, this first uh, May is also in connect with European Spring Festival. In
Oh.
1889, the Marxist International Society Congress met
Hmm.
in Paris and established the Second International as a successor to the earlier International Workersmen Association. So they
Hmm.
adopted a resolution for a great international demonstration in support of the working class demands for the
Hmm.
8-hour day. So that's how this commemorated, and then later on, other countries also adapted it, and then so we have this Laborers' Day, which is very important, and it has a significant role in
Hmm.
uh, in meeting the needs of the working class people and
Hmm.
what the struggles they go through and whatever their issues they're facing with. So to find some solution and to bring awareness, this May Day is generally celebrated every year.
So today we have an 8-hour timing slot itself, which is very common. So that's because of May Day.
Mm,
So
yes,
that's something a lot of people should know about, right? So
yeah.
as you mentioned, as May Day is a day that's celebrated for workers. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the relation? What's the relation between the labor movement and the May Day? Like, can you elaborate on that more? Like,
As I said, the origin of Labor Day is back in 19th century. So
hmm,
the began demanding better working conditions and
hmm,
fair wages and short working hours. So these were the things that they had in mind. Like they wanted better working conditions and fair wages and shorter working hours. These three are the main issue that they had.
hmm,
So they wanted to see that it comes begins to happen, and they will have a good working condition, and they will have a fair wages, and they will have shortened working hours, that which we call 8 hours a day
hmm,
working. So International Labor Day is celebrated in more than 80 countries. So we have India and all other people, different parts of the world, celebrating. So this day is mainly celebrated. It is very significant to promote the rights of working class people and to protect them from exploitation. So you see, there was slavery, we see slavery, so they have no particular time to work. So they are throughout,
mm,
they have to work. They have no resting time and
mm,
such kind of things. So basically, if they want to take rest, it depends on the who the master is, whether the master is a good master or a rude master. So it depends on that,
mm,
whether to take good rest or any other working atmosphere. So in order to reduce all these things, I do not know whether to eradicate it totally, but still there are certain
mm,
things happening. But still, this movement happened to see that it at least brings some ease to the workers. Like they will
mm,
have a good, better condition of working condition, a good place
yeah,
to work, and so on and so forth. And they will have fair wages. See,
mm,
many times, no, for what the work they do, they may not receive the same amount.
yeah,
Right? They might work for example, I'm saying if they are working for 500 per day, but they may receive only 10 rupees or 200 rupees, such kind of thing. So this movement started to bring in the work they put in, they will get the wages based on that. So that's
mm,
the idea of this movement. And also to see that they work within a given period of time. So that they can live healthy, they will have no other physical problems. So kind of things. Even working today 8 hours, we have so many difficulties.
yeah,
But back then, they had no time frame. So imagine just how much worse it would have been.
yeah,
So May Day is very significant, or the Labor Day or International Workers' Day is very important because
mm,
it has brought in discipline of work,
yeah,
as to say, and also to ease the workers' load or their
mm,
stress, to reduce their stress and other health issues and so on
mm,
and so forth, and that they will be paid well for
mm,
the work they do. So these are
mm,
all put together. So the Labor Day becomes very significant because of the
mm,
protests they did, because of the voices they raised, because
mm,
as a community, they as a society, they came together and they voiced it out for this particular issue. And
mm,
so therefore, it is very significant even today and back
mm,
then. It was back then much more because it was the beginning. So it
mm,
was very much important moment. And now it is not. I'm not saying it is not important today, but
mm,
comparatively, back then it was very important. And the circumstances they were in, as slaveries were there, and there was no time bound, as they were not paid wages well. So all these things put together, this movement plays a significant role
mm,
as to celebrate the Labour's Day to reinstate their rights and for their protection the workers, and that they will have better working setup and all those things.
mm. So I mean, for all for years, like we think May Day, it's like for us, May Day becomes a holiday. So I
Yeah.
mean, but that one day, it has such a huge role in the working system itself altogether in the today's
Mhm.
world, right? So I think for the
Yeah.
I think these are the reasons why I wanted. I think you explained very well. That's why we wanted to do on May Day because that's the kind of an impact that it's left today. So
Mm.
since you mentioned India. I wanted you to tell like what's the history of like May Day in India and till today what is the significance, of the May Day in this country?
See, in India, the connection is like the first Labor Day was celebrated in India on May 1st, 1923. It was
Okay.
celebrated in Chennai. So the
Mm,
first May Day celebration was organized by the Labour Kisan Party of Hindustan. So this
mm,
is the party, and the leader of the party, Comrade Singaravela, arranged two meetings to celebrate this occasion. So
mm,
Labor Day is celebrated by many different names. We can have various names and all those things. So mainly to, like as I said earlier, it was celebrated to say that laborers are not forgotten,
mm,
or to say that their rights are these things. These are their rights. These many hours they can work, and so all these things. began to celebrate, to make it remember to the people who are working, and they will be aware that they have so many rights to
mm,
as to working, and so on and so forth. So first, it was celebrated on May 1st, 1923 in Chennai. That's how
mm.
it started in India.
O- Okay, so okay, all right, okay. So since you mentioned that, since as you already mentioned, the history of May Day itself is because of the oppression workers went through. So it was a protest because of that that May Day when it was celebrated, right? So today, can
Hmm.
you tell people what how May Day is itself is how May Day has become a platform for people to stand for their for working rights, and what how can this be a platform that can be used for social justice as well today in the working system in India?
Yeah. See, despite progress made in the labor rights and workplace safeties over the
Mm,
past centuries, there are still many challenges, right? Workers are facing around the world, and many workers still face low wages, long
mm,
working hours, unsafe working conditions,
yeah.
and discrimination and inadequate protections for their rights. So these are the basic problems or very important problems that they face.
Mm,
So even today there are people who are receiving very low salary, but the work they do is very huge, and they have discrimination in the work, like
mm,
based on color, based on the qualification, so on and so forth. They might have, and they also favoritism. So these kinds of things are there, and also there is no proper adequate protection for their rights. So
mm,
these are the things that still prevail,
mm,
and it's not as I said earlier, it is not totally eradication of the laborers, what to say, what they are going through, but
mm,
to see some to an extent where they will ease their work. And so this movement is very important, and this day is very important
mm,
to as to remember what are their rights, and still we have many people protesting for that, and this day can be used to protest. We have seen many protests back then, and so May Day serves as a reminder of the
mm,
ongoing struggles for workers rights and the need for continued advocacy and action to ensure fair treatment and protection for all workers.
mm,
It is also a time to celebrate the contributions of workers to the society and to recognize their important role in building a equitable and just world. So in recent years, the May Day has also become a platform for
mm,
activists on a wide range of social and political issues,
mm,
including immigrations, climate change, and social justice, which demonstrates and which have taken place in kind of demonstrations and protests around the world, which continues to highlight need for systematic change to
mm,
address these pressing issues and to create a more just and equitable society for all. So
mm,
that is the main important reason why May Day is celebrated, to see that they have to create a more just and equitable society for all.
mm.
So that can be the
Okay.
tagline for why the May Day is celebrated.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So since you already mentioned, you started with the answers. You started this answer with saying the problems and challenges that workers are facing, right? And you have
Mm,
already mentioned that these problems can be, that Mayday can be a platform where they can address all these problems. So
mm.
we there are way lot more problems that workers go through, right? So can you tell more, like elaborate more on the like what are the other problems, the concerns that workers are going through today that they can address about?
The one kind of thing is that long working hours can be there, and also they have no break kind of thing. See,
Mm,
for example, during the COVID times, they had to work from home,
mm,
and working from home, like they usually in office hours, it could be 8 to 9 hours, but
mm,
in home, if you say, it is like 24/7 kind of thing. like
mm,
that kind of thing it had happened. So which leads to unhealthiness,
mm,
right? They cannot spend time with the family. They cannot take care of their life. If they
yeah,
are unhealthy, how can they work, right? So
that's
this work from home kind of thing is like what to say. It is like working every day, like every hour, not just 8 hours kind of thing. See, most of the time, not
mm,
I'm not saying everybody is going through that, but most of the companies do so. So
mm,
they call at any time. Whenever they call, they have to do the work,
mm,
and they'll be loaded with lots of work. So they will have no time to breathing space. They do not have. They do not
yeah,
have time to spend with the children, with their
mm,
family, and all these things are affected. And
yeah,
so slowly that can lead to distress, that can lead to depression, and which will result in bad kind of things, right? See, if you work for 24 hours sitting in a particular place, what will your body happen? So
yeah,
these are the issues currently it is going on, right? So
yeah,
currently these issues are very important. That's what 8 hours is to work should also be there for work from home people also, and
mm,
see, which will help them also to work efficiently and
mm,
also to take care of their health and also their family and all those things.
mm,
So it is very important. This issue is very important. That's what I wanted to highlight. Because work
mm,
from home has become a, a model today in the modern world.
yeah,
See, anywhere you are there, you can work from home. Just you
yeah,
need to have a phone or a laptop, but
yeah,
it should have a time frame. That is what it means. Like, see,
absolutely.
that is the cost that they started the labor day. That's the
Mm,
movement which was started. But today, I think we're slowly going back to the same thing in
mm,
terms of technology improvement
mm,
and all those things.
mm,
So, so that's a pressing issue today. That
yeah,
work from home, can we say it boon or a curse? I do not know, but still, it is happening. So
mm,
there is no time bomb pain. They are very much stressed up. So
yeah,
that's the thing. I just wanted to focus today.
mm. Amazing. Yeah, it is like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you spoke about, work from home, because that has its pros and has its cons as well. And the
Mm,
disadvantages are, I mean, the advantages a lot of people know, but its disadvantages are something that, it's very, it mentally it can be pressurizing, right, for people.
mm,
I think in one way or another, May Day, it can be a way of, it can be a way of for you to voice out as well. I think
yeah.
it's what I think it signifies for May Day, right? Like May Day is voicing out. So I think that's an amazing lesson that I think May Day will teach. So can you tell, like, what is there in the Bible that that has something what that we can learn about May Day from the Bible? What is that?
Like kind of May Day is actually Labor Day. So the Bible talks about work so much.
Yeah.
In Bible, there are like a few references just to make us refresh to know what the Bible says about work.
Mm,
Um, there is a passage which says that he, what a man, what as a man from all the toil and striving of heart with which he toils beneath the sun. For
mm,
all of his days are full of sorrow, and his work is eviction. Even in the night, his heart does not rest. We can apply to work from home today. This one, this also is vanity. There is nothing better for a person than that he should eat and drink and find enjoyment in his toil. Nobody finds enjoyment in their toil. So this is
mm,
also I saw this from the hand of God and from apart from him who can eat or who can have enjoyment. So basically what this verse tells is we have so much of toil. We may have so much of toil, but unless the Lord blesses us, unless the Lord is with us, we cannot enjoy. So
mm,
need to have God in our work. So that's what this verse says. And also, if you read in other passages in the Bible, it says in Psalms 90, 16 and 17, let your work be shown to your servant and the glorious power
mm,
to their children. Let the favor of the Lord God, our God, be upon us and establish the work of our hands upon us. Yes,
mm,
establish the work of our hands upon us. So our
mm,
work should be established by the Lord. See,
mm,
the world today we live in, we work, 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 work. We are tired of working. We toil so much, and we end up with nothing sometimes. So
yeah,
we need the favor of God in our work. We need
mm,
God's presence in our work. So it is unless God establishes our work, we cannot work. Unless
mm,
God is not in the midst of us, we cannot bear with the situations that we go through, especially in
mm,
kinds of atmosphere of our workplace. And so there are other verses also which also talks about in Philippians chapter 2, verse 14 to 16. It
mm,
talks about do all things without grumbling or disputing, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast to the word of life, so that in the day of Christ you might be proud. So in this passage, he says, whatever you do it without grumbling or
mm,
disputing.
mm,
See, we can, as to workplace, we see we have these two things will be there.
mm,
Grumbling will be there, dispute also will be there. See,
yeah,
no workplace is like heaven. There will be lots of challenges. There will be lots of pullbacks, setbacks.
mm,
There will be so many things. So Bible tells us that we need when you are in workplace or whatever atmosphere you are in when you're working, you should not grumble, nor that you
mm,
should not be disputing.
mm,
So grumbling is like, I do not have this, I do not have that. See, that's the generally we grumble, and he is not right, they is not right. So those things are there, and
mm,
dispute also arises. So, but the Bible says, as children of God, we should not be grumbling or be
mm,
disputing.
mm,
And also in Paul also talks in other place where he says like you should work. If anyone does not work, let him not eat.
mm,
So God has created us to work. Even if you read in Genesis
mm,
first chapter itself, it says God created everything and gave it into the care of Adam. So
mm,
Adam had to work. It was not a toilsome work back then, but then he had to take care of the things that God has created, and
mm,
he should take care in a way so that he can have fruits. Fruits is for him. The trees that were in the garden, he had to take it. He had to water it. He had to do all those things. Why? To eat the fruit of it. So
mm,
labor is for our benefit and work is from God. And Paul says you should not be idle, talking other things, putting without doing any work, sitting idle and
mm,
just being like that. So Paul says if you don't work, do not eat. It's as simple as that. So Bible
mm,
teaches us to work, whatever work we do. See,
mm,
whatever work, no matter what work you are doing, unless it does not cheat others, it is not uh, like stealing, those kind of things are not there. But the
mm,
work, any minimal work you do, which is dignitary and also which in which you are truthful, so it you should work. And
mm,
so Bible teaches us to work and to work it and keep it. So in Proverbs 10:4, it says, a slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich.
mm,
You see, a slack hand causes poverty. So if you
mm,
don't work diligently, if you don't like if we become lazy or we do not work, we end up in poverty. But
mm,
if we work diligently with the help of the Lord, we we can make riches. But I'm not saying very good life and very becoming very millionaire, all those things. But still, we can lead a good life, and it will bring riches to us too also.
mm,
So this maybe I would like to encourage each one of us that work is from God, and we
mm,
have to work to earn our bread, right?
mm,
And when we work, we should not depend on our work too much. We should
mm,
depend on the Lord. Unless the hand of the Lord is with us, all our toil is in vain. That's what
mm.
Ecclesiastes says. So,
So by that's the beauty of Bible, right? Anything
yeah.
Bible can teach you about anything. See, right? Bible has taught us about May Day as well. So and that's the end of it. I think I have that's the best way to even end the the a conversation on May Day as itself, because I think the best way to learn about about difficulties in our daily lives. I think God is really teaching you day by day, to fight day by day and not
Mm.
give up. I think that's. That's an amazing lesson, and I think you have also explained very well about Labor Day, and I think that's the best thing, best lesson Labor Day is giving you, right? Like you have to voicing out. I think that's the main thing. That's the main theme running, in May Day, I think. So again, thank you so much, Danny, for coming, for joining us on this live session, and you explained on the topic of May Day very well, and and again, everyone who have been in the live session, thank you so much for being a part of the live session. And again, if you ever want to get in touch with FEBA and get to know us more, you always can get in touch with us at 63642521 and 64. That's it. Signing off, Johan and Danny. Thank you again for coming, and see you guys next week again. God bless you guys.